Hi, this is Karina.
This is Krisha.
This is Jonathan.
And
today we're going to be doing a podcast on Catcher in the Rye, and we're going to be talking about some of the central themes and some symbolism in the book, and also about the characters and kind of analyzing why they did what they did.
Yep, last podcast of the year. Yay, guys.
Okay. So, starting with one of the biggest themes and one of the biggest things that we see in the book are a lot of Holden's problems. So what do you guys think is like the root cause of his problems?
Okay, I think the root cause of his problems is every time a problem arises, he runs away from it. He doesn't really address the problem in any way. So I feel like that causes more problems. It doesn't help him.
Yeah, but what do you think was like the root cause? So like what causes the problems?
The way his personality.
Yeah.
I also think how like his family kind of fell apart after his brother died.
Yeah.
Like his mother became like really fragile and tense. His dad became like I think harsher, and then his brother left. So then his family like fell apart, and he didn't have like and then he was like sent to boarding school, so like he didn't have like a strong support system.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. So he went through a lot of losses, like Allie, and then also his family reaction to that, and then James Castle, and just like he was realizing things about his friends that he wasn't liking very much. So he just realizes that he needs to take them away.
So speaking of family, like, what do you guys think? How do you think his family has an impact on his life, especially Phoebe?
Well, Phoebe was the first type of real human connection he was able to make after everything went down. So I think Phoebe brought him back to who he was, and in that sense, like she gave him a chance to have human connection again and to feel what it feels like to have that. So I think she was really something that was really helpful for him along the way. Yeah. And also just like thinking of her, thinking of her was like good memories for him. And I feel like if she wasn't there, then things might have been a lot worse than they were.
Yeah, and I feel like she brings him back to reality, and he feels comfortable around her, and he's able to actually talk to her unlike other people. Like he has conversations with other people, but they always end up going the wrong direction, whereas every time he talks to Phoebe, it's always something positive in his life.
I think ultimately he just like he needed her, and she was like she was like a major factor in his like life towards the end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, what about Jane?
Jane, I think so she was like a love interest for him over the summer months, but I feel like he also has a connection to her, but he didn't really talk to her at all throughout the novel. He just talked about her. But I feel like
that was also, don't you think, like, maybe it was more than a love interest. It was, like, I feel like Susie was his, like, love interest, but, like,
Sally?
Sorry, Sally. This is love interest. But, sorry, it's been a while. But Jane was, like, someone that he, like, looked up to, kind of. He, like, admired her. And the reason that he never, like, confronted her about anything was because he didn't want her to become something that he saw negative stuff in, too. Because really he saw negative things in everybody. And he didn't want to see her again. And when he, like, if he were to meet her, he probably would have noticed some flaw about her.
No, but
something about that was phony. I feel like he was
phony.
Scared
wow.
of her. Yeah, I feel like he was scared of
recurring theme.
Seeing her corrupt nature. He didn't want her to be corrupt. He wanted to see her in that innocent light. So that's why he never truly met up with her.
But
hold
on.
Huh?
He did reach out to her though. But he reached out to her multiple times, but she never picked up the phone.
No, he didn't reach. A lot of the times he was like, oh, maybe I should call Jane. Nah, her mom might pick up, or her dad might pick up, or then I would have to go through them. Like, a lot of the times he did that.
Didn't he at one point, though? I thought he did at one point.
He probably did maybe at one point, but
I get what you're saying.
A lot of the time he was also trying to evade it. And don't you guys also think that, with the whole stepfather incident and when she was, like, crying and everything about that, he's realized that, she's been through some deep stuff, too. And he feels like he can relate to her also in that sort. Mm-hmm. Like, he feels like someone understands him with, like, understanding that people are bad.
Yeah, and he also just, I feel like he's really protective over her after that incident, after everything that's occurred to her, like when his roommate
Stradlater.
Yeah, Stradlater. Yeah,
Stradlater.
he kept asking like, did you do it with her? And he wanted to like make sure that she was okay because he doesn't want her to be exposed to that again or that.
Because like there was like that one part in the book where like Stradlater was like, he was with a girl and then the girl was like, like,
because he's known for date rape.
Yeah,
he didn't want that to happen to her because he actually did care about her a lot. So you can see like through all these characters that he actually does. He may seem like a very like dark, pessimistic person, very unhappy, but there's people in the book that give him like humanity and that make him.
He cares more about other people or like what other people think than like he cares about himself.
That's true.
Like with I think was it who was the boy's mother he talked to like on the subway?
Mrs. Morrow. Yeah.
Yeah, like he like didn't want her. She was like proud of her son, so like he didn't want her to feel bad. So like he like started talking good things about her son. Like he like cared.
He did
about
a lot of emails. Like I don't see him doing much to, Have you realized like all the people that he always ends up having a soft heart for are females, except for maybe a few cases. Like he has a bit of a soft Ackley, and then also for James Castle, he did a little bit. Talking more about how he's portrayed. Do you guys think that Holden likes being isolated when he left, or do you think that he doesn't like it, or do you think that he felt it was needed?
I think so I don't think he really likes to be alone. He acts like he does, but I don't think he likes to be alone. I think he likes the presence of others because that makes him happier, I feel like. But it depends on who it is. See, he wants to be with people, but I feel like he feels like he's not going to be accepted by them, by a lot of people.
I think it has to be Krisha, you go first.
Okay. So I was just going to say that, like, maybe he wants to be around people, but as soon as he goes around, he always finds something to complain about,
Mm-hmm.
Except for some people, but, like, usually, he'll find them, he'll be like, oh, yeah, I call this person, and as soon as he can meet with them, he's like, oh, I don't get why, so-and-so has to be like this, and I don't get why so-and-so has to be like this.
I think he has to have, like, an emotional relationship with them.
Yeah.
Because, like, with a lot of people that he was, like, complaining about and judging about, like, he didn't really, like, have that emotional relationship with them. Like he does with, like, Phoebe.
Yeah, for sure. I think he just wants more relationships, like the one he has with Phoebe. But people, just some people he just does not get along with or does not match personalities with. So what do you think? It looks like throughout the book, like he really does care for children. He's always, every time he's like around children, like Phoebe or that girl at the park, like he really, I don't know, his personality changes a bit. So what do you guys think about that?
I think that's pretty representative of the fact that he is so, pretty much up until the end of the book, he treasures innocence. And he treasures the nature of, like, not being corrupt. Like, the same with Jane, right? He didn't want to see her because he wanted to keep her in his mind as, like, innocent, light. And that's how he still sees children, too, right? They're not corrupt with the world and, like, all of the phony nature and all the stuff that Holden hates. They're just, like, they're free and they don't care about anything and they're kids and they're innocent. And I think that's what he really likes. He doesn't like the reality of the way things are in the world and bad stuff and the phoniness that's going on, which is why he's like annoyed with everyone throughout the book up until the end when he realizes that you need to let innocence go away in order for someone to really grow,
Mm-hmm. I feel like, also there's many symbols of innocence in the book, like the cover is like the carousel with the horse and stuff, and that represents like youth. And
I think it's just like also has to deal with like what he's dealing with and what he's going through, and like because like all throughout the book he's very caring of others, like especially little kids. But like I remember we talked about in class how like, and I think I forgot who it was with, but he was like constantly trying to help them. But then he realized like I can't help them, like that's their business, and so like he was like, trying to help the little kids and not like have to experience what he's like
Yeah.
going through.
For sure. Okay, so I'm trying to think of another question.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
So going back to what Krisha said, and I thought about this, like, why do you think he treats his relationship with just women in general is just so much different than, like, with the males of the story?
I feel like he's trying to adult, in a way. He just wants to gain that experience with women, but also, every time he's close to having an interaction with a woman, he shuts it down. So I feel like he wants to adult, but then at the same time, he wants to keep his innocence.
I thought maybe it, like, stems from, like, his brother. Like, his, like, little brother passing away.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about this, like, I still don't really, like, I'm still really thinking about this, but, like, maybe it just has something to do with his brother and, like, the fact that he's a male and, like, all that, because throughout the story, like, he treats, like, males, like, significantly, like, differently. Like, even during the hotel, like, when, Sunny and Maurice came to, like, get more money, like, like, he was more hostile towards Maurice than he was towards Sunny.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it could be because he's just a teenage boy, and, maybe that's just the way he's feeling right now, like, women. Or it could be the fact because he knows that he's able to form more emotional connections with those women, right? Because Sunny, he's able to talk to Sunny the way, or he's able to, talk to Phoebe or Jane or whatever, or Mrs. Morrow, but he's not really able to have that relationship with, say, Strad, later his roommate, So maybe that could be it. I don't know, though. I'm not trying to say that, he can't have emotional relationships with the other kind, but maybe it's because he has more of those with girls.
Yeah. What do you guys think that... remember when he was in the taxi, and he was talking to the taxi driver, and he's talking about the ducks? What do you think the ducks signify in this novel? Him doing what, though, specifically? I think it's him, like, I feel like it signifies him walking away from his problems.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think there's anything else that this symbolize or signify?
I think it's mostly him, like, that's why he's like, how do I get out of this pond, and what do they do when they get, and can they, and stuff like that. So I think that's what the author is probably trying to indicate with that. Yeah,
I think it's just, like, him, like, asking, like, how did the ducks get out of the pond? Like, how's, like, he supposed to get out of this, like, rut he's in?
Mm-hmm. So, like,
why do you guys think...
Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's okay, go.
No, go. Okay, I'll go, I guess. Okay. So, why do you guys think that Holden would ever hurt someone? Because, okay, so when Maurice, like, started to beat him up, he obviously probably thought about, like, yeah, I'm gonna punch him back, but he never did do that. Do you think that he would... Why do you think he's like this? Why do you think he would never do that?
Okay, I don't think he would, but then that, like, led to something I was not thinking about. I don't think he would, but, like, you know how he was, like, talking about how, like, he doesn't like movies, but, like, he still watches them?
Uh-huh.
I think it's because, like, movies portray this, like, perfect reality or perfect world, or, like, where, like, people can, like, stand up to people or, like, do what, and, like, he can't do that, and he, like, won't do that. So then that's why, like, he probably doesn't like the movies, because, like, but, like, he still watches it, because he wants that perfect reality, but, like, he can't do it.
He probably, he knows that, like, that perfect reality is not possible. It's not, like, no world is perfect. Like, that's not gonna, like, he thinks, because, like, in the movies, when people are trying to, like, protect themselves and stuff, it seems like they didn't get as hurt, but he knows, like, that's not the case. Like, you will get hurt. You will get, hurt badly. Yeah, Krisha, so what were you gonna say, Krisha, before?
Oh, I was just gonna say another question. If you guys want to talk about, why he tries to act like an adult all the time.
I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like that's he just wants to mature and stuff, because he knows, even in school, and, he fails a lot of his classes in school, and, like, I don't know, I just feel like he wants to, fit in with society, and he wants people to accept him, because being a kid won't really get him as far, like, acting like a child. and but he still wants to preserve his innocence at the same time. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think also could just be like, because like he doesn't really know like who he is, so like he's trying to find himself, but like he acts as an adult to like, you know, I don't know how to explain this. Like,
Yeah.
because he just doesn't know who he is. Like he struggles with his identity throughout, so then he like, tries to act older.
Is Krisha saying something?
I think so, but like I can't hear her.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry, I was just trying to say that maybe he feels like he can't figure out who he is, or he doesn't know who he is as a child, so he tries to go to the adult world to figure out who he is.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Okay, so I think we can just wrap it up here. Okay, thanks guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.